This Ballooncast episode is based on passages from the book The 80-20 Principle, Achieve More with Less, by Richard Koch. Levels, intermediate up. What is the essence of 80-20? Life, business, the universe, and everything is wonky. Everything in life is a tussle between effort and results, inputs and outputs, causes and consequences. But the tussle is wonky. Effort and results are not symmetrical. There are some easy things you can do which lead to great results. There are some hard things you can do which lead to poor results, sometimes even undesirable results. This is the 80-20 principle. A few methods, causes, ideas, inputs, or uses of time, money, manpower will lead to great results. Most will lead to poor results. The point of 80-20 is this: identify the few methods, etc., which will lead to great results and use them alone. Avoid hard work. Don't push water uphill. Be very selective in what you do and have a great life. A useful benchmark is that often 20% of inputs or ways of doing things lead to 80% of results. Hence, 80-20. Identify the 20% that leads to 80%. For example, 20% of your time usually leads to 80% of what you achieve. 20% of how you arrange your life may lead to 80% of happiness. 20% of your investments will give you 80% of your returns, and we'll explain how to focus on the key 20%. 20% of your friends are worth spending time with many times over, compared to the rest. 80-20 is not always precisely true. It could be 70-30 or increasingly 90-10 or 95-5. But 50% of effort rarely leads to 50% of results. Yet, although 80-20 applies to almost everything, it is not always immediately obvious. You need to look for the 80-20 pattern. Now, let's understand the origins of this principle. Pareto's discovery: systematic and predictable lack of balance. The pattern underlying 80-20 was discovered in 1897 by the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto. His discovery has since been called many names, including the Pareto principle, the Pareto law, the 80-20 rule, the principle of least effort, and the principle of imbalance. But here we'll call it simply 80-20. By a subterranean process of influence on many important achievers, especially business people, computer enthusiasts, and quality engineers, 80-20 has helped to shape the modern world. Yet, it has remained one of the great secrets of our time. And even the select band of cognoscenti who know and use 80-20 only exploit a tiny proportion of its power. So what did Vilfredo Pareto discover? He happened to be looking at patterns of wealth and income in 19th century England. He found that most income and wealth went to a minority of the people in his samples. Perhaps there was nothing very surprising in it. But he also discovered two other facts that he thought highly significant. One was that there was a consistent mathematical relationship between the proportion of people as a percentage of the total relevant population and the amount of income or wealth that this group enjoyed. To simplify, if 20% of the population enjoyed 80% of the wealth, then you could reliably predict that 10% would have, say, 65% of the wealth, and 5% would have 50%. The key point is not the percentages, but the fact that the distribution of wealth across the population was predictably unbalanced. Pareto's other finding, one that really excited him, was that this pattern of imbalance was repeated consistently whenever he looked at data referring to different time periods or different countries. Whether he looked at England in earlier times or whatever data were available from other countries in his own time or earlier, he found the same pattern repeating itself over and over again with mathematical precision. Was this a freak coincidence or something that had great importance for economics and society? Would it work if applied to sets of data relating to things other than wealth or income? Pareto was a terrific innovator because before him no one had looked at two related sets of data, in this case, the distribution of incomes or wealth, compared to the number of income earners or property owners, and compared percentages between the two sets of data. Nowadays, this method is commonplace and has led to major breakthroughs in business and economics. Sadly, although Pareto realized the importance and wide range of his discovery, he was very bad at explaining it. He moved on to a series of fascinating but rambling sociological theories, and because of this, the significance of 82 lay dormant for generations. While a few economists, especially in the US, realized its importance, it was not until after the Second World War that different pioneers began to make waves with 80-20.